2 phones. Gun. Same night. Same man. And the baby's the one who ate dinner on camera while Mama's laid across the covers like the room isn't recording. Y'all. I keep rewinding this. There's a moment, right before the Airbnb door shuts, where Jonathan Porter, the one you know as Blueface, looks straight into the lens and calls himself the villain. Not as a bit, as a thesis statement. Imagine if the villain in the movie just took you with them and just showed you all the expletive he doing. That's the sentence. That's the whole night in one line. And then he goes and does exactly that. Baltimore is asleep in the frame. San Diego is awake behind it. And somebody's about to tell you this was just a stream. Real quick before the paper trail cracks open. If you're the kind of person who watches these breakdowns twice, hit the thumb, lock the sub, flip the bell so the next one doesn't get buried. Ride this whole receipt out. It gets weirder than the clip you already saw. Here's what's on the table, dry as we can lay it. Saturday, August 8th, 2026. San Diego. Blueface, government named Jonathan Michael Porter, performs at what's being reported as Blue Temple or Blue Cabana, then rolls out with Chrisean Malone, known publicly as Chrisean Rock, and their toddler, Chrisean Malone Jr. post-set. The vehicle gets pulled over by the San Diego Police Department's gang unit, allegedly for a missing front plate, and the stop plays out on his Kick broadcast. They eventually get released. They head back to an Airbnb. The stream keeps running. Chrisean lays down. Blue feeds Jr. on camera, tucks in next to him, then, once both are out, walks out the door to hit the club. That's the skeleton. One more name belongs on the table before the filings open. Nevaeh Akira, the girlfriend back home, pregnant, by her own account on his stream, and the person he dialed from that Airbnb couch before the night was out. Geography matters too. Chrisean's base is Baltimore. San Diego was a booking, not a residence. Nobody in that rental was in their own city. And underneath all of it sits the calendar. Blueface is barely 9 months past release, home since November 2025 after serving 21 months, with the homecoming weekend itself turning messy within hours. This wasn't a man with a quiet runway. Every weekend since release had been generating paper. Pass 1. The filing. Let me pull the raw first. Not my words. Their words. From the stream itself, Blue tells the chat, unprompted, I'm a supervillain. Imagine if the villain in the movie just took you with them and just showed you all the expletive he doing. That's on tape. That's not a paraphrase. Later, after the traffic stop, back at the Airbnb, he's on the couch trying to shake Chrisean awake. Her response, verbatim, okay, daddy. Then she's gone again. He turns to Jr., spoon in hand, eat your food like a big boy. You're not a baby no more. Then, minutes after that, straight to the camera, they both sleeping. My job is done. Then he's up, shoes on, out. Right before he leaves, he calls Nevaeh Akira, his pregnant girlfriend, on speaker. She's on the other line. He tells her both his phones are gone. She says, quote, both of them? I don't understand. How does that just happen? He shrugs it off, expletive, happens. She says, quote, bad luck around, expletive. You shouldn't be around. That call happened in the same Airbnb where Chrisean was still passed out. Not reported after the fact. Broadcast in real time. Nevaeh's paper starts earlier than the July admission. By the way, on the live stream where the pregnancy first surfaced, she confronted him with the phrase every aggregator picked up. She's carrying a baby. Stated publicly. His platform. His audience. Weeks before San Diego. Sit with that one. Then July 21st, the date comes from XXL's write-up of the admission, and the confession lands while that headline is still warm. Add to the pile, the San Diego traffic stop itself, streamed on Kick, allegedly initiated over a missing front plate by SDPD's gang unit right after the Blue Temple show. And the outside context, Nevaeh is currently pregnant with Blueface's child, and he already publicly confessed on a July livestream that he cheated on her with Chrisean. The Legacy Wire ran its own version of the stop. TMZ's August 9th write-up describes officers seen asking the rapper and members of his camera crew to exit the vehicle. Reported. Dated. Read it twice, members of his camera crew. A crew. Plural. The lone man with the phone image has an HR department. Don't skip the family folder, either. Weeks before San Diego, when Chrisean floated a reunion, Carlissa Saffold Harvey, Blueface mother, answered in comments carried by WDKX, "She's not about to play me." Stated publicly, in print, from the same family camp that watched Saturday night like everyone else. Noted. Hold the name. She matters later. That's the raw. No spin on it yet. Just paper. Now watch the calendar collapse. July 21st, roughly, the cheating confession on stream. Nevaeh, pregnant, finds out with the internet. Weeks later, August 7th, Whack 100 pops up on Blue's Kick and tells the chat he personally made the call to block Chrisean and a 20-deep YN squad from entering some scene. One day later, August 8th, Chrisean is in the passenger seat of Blue's car in San Diego with Junior in the back and the gang unit walking up to the driver's window. That is not a coincidence. That is a schedule. The July confession. The Whack denial. The San Diego link-up the next day. That's not three separate stories. That's a corridor. And the corridor is running while Nevaeh is home pregnant and the toddler is riding shotgun to a nightlife shift. Scroll the corridor further back. November 2025, homecoming weekend. Hours after his release from a 21-month bid, and the coverage was messy before the weekend ended. That same stretch produced the fight between Chrisean and his mother that he later addressed in a no-jumper clip. Release. Homecoming. Family fight. Then 9 months of relative quiet on the Chrisean front, until the July confession, the August door, and the San Diego weekend stacked themselves into 18 days. Now sharpen the August 7th door. The event Whack turned her away from wasn't some anonymous function, it was the Zeus Network's Baddies USA premiere. The venue sits in the network's own listings, and Blueface's own version is colder than Whack's. He said he personally revoked her access and her new boyfriend's. 2 men, same door, both on paper bragging about who closed it. 24 hours later, she was in his passenger seat. If you caught the door detail before I finish this paragraph, you already know where the timestamp's live. Drop the one you found. Am I overreading a calendar? Fair question. Spread the dates flat and they adjust dates. Stack them and they are policy. The deleted post pattern also lines up with what Chrisean's been running for months. She's already caught heat over a 24-hour kick stream where fans accuse her of leaving Junior hungry. She's already been reported banned from Twitch after a separate incident where Junior was allegedly left in a car mid-broadcast. The San Diego night doesn't sit in a vacuum. It sits on top of a pile. Notice where this family's emergencies happen, the car. Before the gang unit ever lit up that San Diego street, the Twitch incident, the one that reportedly cost Chrisean her account, allegedly involved Junior alone in a vehicle during the streamer prom event while she stepped away mid-broadcast, with fan uploads framing it as a hot car and an argument with Blueface on the other end of it. Allegedly. Reportedly. Layered qualifiers, because that's what the paper supports. But the platform's response was real enough to be reported as a ban. So when Saturday put Junior in the back of a car with the gang unit at the window, that frame wasn't new. It was a sequel. Both parents now hold a child in a vehicle receipt. Hayes came with a platform penalty. His came with lights in the mirror. The persona math has paper too. In the months after release, the interview circuit was heavy on fatherhood talk. One widely clipped segment has him weighing co-parenting with Jaden and questioning her readiness for it. Another beat from the same dispute, per the family drama coverage, he handed Javon, his eldest son with Jaden, $11,000 directly rather than route it through her. Read those two beats side by side with Saturday. The man building a public case about responsible fatherhood is the same man streaming a gang unit stop with his toddler in the back seat. Both beats are content. Only one of them was supposed to be. And then, the fact I keep circling back to, Blueface literally calls his pregnant girlfriend from the same Airbnb where his ex is passed out. On speaker. On stream. Then goes to the club. That's the overlay. He didn't hide any of it. He performed all of it. One question I've been holding, on purpose, who dialed? Chrisean's own account, posted after the stop, claims officers informed Blueface that the report allegedly originated from inside his own house and allegedly stacked on an allegedly, and she offered no evidence for it. Hold that thread. Don't tie it off. Somebody made contact with San Diego police that night, and every camp in this story has a reason to want that somebody named, or never named. It comes back around when the folder's fatter. Wait, back up. Let me reread one thing. The moment he says, quote, They both sleeping. My job is done. That's not a father saying good night. That's a shift clock out. That's the tell. Once the job is defined as containment, everything after it is a receipt of what was never being done in the first place. Zoom all the way in. There's one moment on the tape everybody scrolled past. The show. The cartoon playing on the TV while Blue is spooning food into Junior's mouth. It's a children's Bible cartoon. In the beginning, there was God. No trees. No whales or snails or bats or cats. That's what's on the screen. Not accident audio. He put it on. And under it, under cartoon literally narrating Adam, Eve, and the sneaky snake who convinced them to disobey, a grown man is looking at a camera saying, "I'm a supervillain. Look, there's the bad guy right there." The show is telling a moral parable about choosing your own way over what you were told. The stream is broadcasting somebody choosing his own way in real time. The scene is scoring itself. He may not have noticed. The frame did. Behavioral magnifier. Count how many times Blueface refers to himself in the third person as the villain or the bad guy during that Airbnb stretch. It's not one throwaway line. He circles back to it. You need people like me to point and say, "Look, there's the bad guy." The superhero and the villain get paid the same at the end of the movie. That's a man building his own defense on stream before anyone's even accused him yet. Look up anticipatory framing and tell me that's not what that is. Audio magnifier. Strip the video entirely. Just listen to the Airbnb stretch. What the MIC captures, in order, a cartoon narration aimed at toddlers. A spoon against a bowl. A woman mumbling 2 words and slipping back under. Then the moment the audio becomes an exhibit, Nevaeh's voice arriving through a speaker, inside a room she isn't in, feet from a woman who never consented to share airspace with that voice. 3 people occupy that audio frame. 2 of them know it. The question Nevaeh floats through that speaker, how does that just happen, hangs over everything after it, because nobody on the stream ever answers it. Not then. Not later. Not yet. This one is going to split the timeline, and I get why. Speakerphone is normal. Couples share rooms. But consent isn't retroactive, and a speaker in a room with a passed-out ex isn't a phone call. It's a broadcast with a dial tone. Slow this section down with me for a second, because this part of the tape isn't funny at all. Somewhere in that audio bed there's a 2-year-old, and on the tape he isn't a storyline. His background noise at his own bedtime, a spoon, a cartoon, adults performing adulthood at speaker volume. Flattest sentence in this whole episode. Leaving it flat on purpose. Okay, energy back up. The ledger is worse than the audio. Digital magnifier. 2 phones lost in one night. Both of them. Blue tells Nevaeh he doesn't know what happened to either. She points out, again, on speaker, on stream, how does that just happen? The most searchable, most recorded rapper of the Kick era loses 2 devices in the same window as a gang unit traffic stop and a club run. Missing devices means missing message histories, means missing photos, means missing timestamps, reads as, appears as, I'm hedging, because I don't have the police report yet, reads as convenient. Not proven, just noted. Legal magnifier. Junior was in the car when the gang unit pulled the vehicle over. Not nay. In it, a minor in the passenger area during a stop initiated by a specialized unit at night in a jurisdiction the parents don't live in, streamed live, is the kind of detail that shows up in a family court filing later. Ask Jaden Alexis, the mother of Blue's older kids, who's already been in an active support and custody dispute with him. Ask anyone who's had to explain to a judge why their kid was in a car at 1 a.m. on a Saturday in a city the mother doesn't live in. Business magnifier. Follow the money instead of the drama for 1 paragraph. The support ledger is already public. A circulating interview clip runs under the blunt header Blueface on Jaden wanting $10K a month in child support. $10,000 a month. A figure he chose to litigate in front of an audience instead of only in front of a judge. Now set that next to the economics of a KIT broadcast, every minute of Saturday, the stop, the spoon, the speaker, the exit, was monetizable runtime. The custody ledger and the content ledger are the same ledger. When your revenue model is your personal life becomes your revenue model. Every family member within camera range is, functionally, cast. Junior isn't just present in the frame. Junior is in the budget. Before anybody types it, no, streaming your life isn't a crime. It's not even unusual. What's unusual is a gang unit stop, a toddler in the back seat, and not one adult reaching for the off switch. That reach was available all night. It never happened. Now watch the outlets decide what this story is. Yahoo ran it as a traffic stop item. Missing plate. Gang unit. Released without arrest. Frame. Procedural. Clean. Neutral. The kind of write-up a syndicated outlet does to keep the lights on without touching the child. One desk over. TMZ staked out the middle frame. Celebrity plus cop spectacle. Their write-up centered the vehicle, the crew, the stream, a famous person having a famous person problem, with the child present but never leading the sentence. Check the verb choice. Officers were seen asking. Asking. Not ordering. Not detaining. The softest verb available for gang unit stop. That isn't a style quirk. That's an editorial decision about how hot the story gets to run. Then you slide over to the aggregator pages, the shade rooms, the even and style IG rundowns, and the frame flips completely. Chat allegedly calls SWAT. Chat allegedly calls CPS. The verb is allegedly. The emphasis is the baby. Now it's a welfare story with a traffic stop attached, not a traffic stop with a baby in the frame. The shade room ran the same tape with the opposite center of gravity. Their version leads with the toddler, pulled over while Chrisean Jr was in the car. Same stop. Same footage. One desk leads with the plate, one with the crew, one with the child. The fact stayed put between those three headlines. Only the decision about what a reader should feel first moved. That's the framing war in a single paragraph, not who's lying. Who's aiming? Then the Blueface loyal camp shows up with the third frame. Chrisean was drunk. Chrisean wouldn't get up. Blue stepped up and fed the baby. Blue is the responsible one. Blue is the parent doing the work while she sleeps through it. That's the one the stream itself is engineered to seed. That's the version he's directing. Watch him narrate over the sleeping mother. Chad, she's not drunk. She's just sleeping. He said that unprompted. Twice. He knew what the chat was writing. He was rewriting it in the moment. The fourth frame is the messiest, because the fan recap ecosystem couldn't even agree on the exit. One viral recap cut the night as loyalty content. Everyone went to the club, but Blueface decided to stay behind with Chrisean. Another recapped him getting ready in a bedroom while Chrisean is fast asleep. Stayed behind. The stream's own tape says otherwise. Shoes on. Door. Club. When the fan pages start softening a tape that the man himself broadcast unsoftened, the framing war has fully detached from the footage. Nobody's citing the stream anymore. They're citing each other. Now Steelman the loyalist camp, because they deserve the honest hearing. They read, he did feed the kid. He did try to wake her up. He did stay until Junior was asleep. He did try to include her before leaving. Faye. That's on tape too. If you freeze the frame at the spoon, his parenting. If you play it forward 5 minutes, he's on his way to the club and the kid is with a passed-out adult. Both are real. The Steelman doesn't survive the 6th minute. That's not because I don't respect it. It's because the tape doesn't. There's a second Steelman in the folder. The one my mentions dared me to skip. The setup theory. It's been sitting here since Sunday. Claims circulating that Chrisean engineered the stop, that the report came from friendly hands, that the two missing phones walked out with her. One breakdown's promo teased allegations that she phoned the police on him, worked as an informant, and took both devices. Give it the honest beat. If, the report that brought the gang unit out traces back to her circle, that reframes the stop. Genuinely. I'll allow it. I'll even allow the phones. Here's where it collapses. The setup theory explains 15 minutes of curbside contact. It explains nothing about the 3 hours after, the villain monologue, the spoon routine, my job is done, the speakerphone, the 1 a.m. exit. Nobody made him broadcast any of that. Nobody wrote his narration but him. 1 degree fairer. Maybe the phones really did vanish through her. It wouldn't move the verdict. The device that produced the stream never left his hand. The only phone that mattered Saturday night was the one he pointed at himself. And the counter-narrative that's going to fill the replies, she wasn't drunk, she was tired from streaming, has to reckon with the co-parent literally shaking her, calling her name, offering the shower, and getting a mumbled okay, daddy as the ceiling. Tired people wake up when their baby is in the room. This is not a judgment on her health. It's a judgment on the choice to have a camera in that room in the first place. The receipt isn't her state. The receipt is the broadcast of her state. One housekeeping note before the verdict. Because the folder has a gap in it, the aggregator claims about the chat contacting SWAT or CPS remain exactly that, claims. As of this episode, no agency statement, no welfare referral, no police follow-up naming either parent has surfaced publicly. That fails to clear the room. It just means the loudest version of the story is currently the least documented one. When the least source frame travels the farthest, that's not a red flag about the family. It's a red flag about the feed. Here's the read the algorithm's front page won't publish. This wasn't a parenting fail caught on camera. This was a manufactured image fracture live streamed into a monetization event. The mainstream take is going to be two young parents, chaotic lifestyle, baby caught in the middle, TSK, do better. That's the safe frame. That's the one every syndicated blog is going to land on by Tuesday. You can already see the safe version assembling itself. By Sunday, syndicated desks were running the wire-flavored take. Fox Bangor's national entertainment feed carried it as rapper, traffic stop, released, the end. No Airbnb. No speaker. No cartoon. The syndication frame never denies the paper. It just declines to read past page 1. But push past the surface. The public persona Blueface has been running since he came home, the changed man, the back with my family, the I'm doing the fatherhood arc now storyline, doesn't survive a side-by-side with the paper. On paper, this is a man who confessed to cheating on his pregnant girlfriend in July, linked back up with his ex in August, put their toddler in the passenger seat during a gang unit stop, streamed it, brought the ex and the toddler back to an Airbnb, fed the toddler on camera while the mother was unresponsive, then left both of them to hit a club at 1 a.m., then called the pregnant girlfriend from the room where the ex was passed out. Every one of those beats is on stream. Every one of them contradicts the persona the stream is trying to sell. That's not a fatherhood arc. That's a moneized brand crisis where every catastrophic decision is being reframed in real time as content. The villain's speech isn't a joke. It's the pitch deck. The villain and the hero get paid the same. He said the quiet part into the microphone. Defend the read with a new paper. Then, the redemption arc launched in November, hours after a 21-month bid. And the coverage was messy before the weekend ended. The mother of his son asked for a reunion and got a door. His managers, at the Zeus premiere. The mother of his next child announced herself on his own stream as carrying a baby. His mother, asked about that same reunion, put it on record, not about to be played. Every pillar of the changed man storyline has a document leaning on it. Okay, I have to say something about this part specifically, because I've gone back and forth on it since Saturday. The crew. TMZ's write-up mentions members of a camera crew in that vehicle, which means the stop wasn't one man, one phone, one lapse in judgment. It was a production. Multiple adults. Employed. Present. And not one of them reached for the off switch while a toddler sat through a gang unit stop on live camera. I tried to talk myself out of that detail mattering. I failed. It matters. That microthread from earlier, who dialed, who brought the unit out, notice how it resolves. It resolves by not resolving. We never get name. The only call from that entire night verifiable end-to-end is the one he placed himself on speaker from the Airbnb couch. Everything else is allegations wearing each other's jackets. The defense writes itself from the doors alone. November. Homecoming, family fight, messy coverage. August 7th, a manager on stream bragging about a closed door. August 8th, the same woman in the passenger seat, on the same platform, with the toddler in back. Whoever is managing the redemption arc, and somebody is, arcs like this never self-manage, approved a week where the paper contradicts the pitch at every checkpoint. The persona didn't collapse under pressure. It was outperformed by its own receipts, on its own channel, for its own audience. And here's the part that's going to age the worst. The toddler is being used as the receipt. The spoon-feeding sequence is not private care. It's a proof of fatherhood clip engineered to run against the CPS narrative in advance. The child is not a child in that frame. The child is Exhibit A in a PR defense the parent is producing while parenting. If you strip the cameras out of the room, does the same scene happen the same way? I don't know. Neither do you. That not knowing is the problem. Push it further. Chrisean gets weaponized in her sleep. Nevaeh gets weaponized on speaker. The baby gets weaponized in the high chair. And the man at the center gets to walk out and go clubbing while all three of them are frozen in whatever role the stream needed them to play. That's not chaos. That's staging. Loud, sloppy, provably on-camera staging. Now the jabs, ascending. The dry one. A man litigating a $10,000 a month support figure in interviews just handed any future courtroom a highlight reel for free. Lawyers bill by the hour. The stream billed itself. The almost sympathetic one. Chrisean spent Saturday being discussed as drunk, as tired, as a setup artist, as a villain, as a victim, and she was unconscious for the decisive hours of her own narrative. Whatever she is in this story, she never got to audition for the role. The absurdist one, 2 phones, both evaporated like a Vegas lounge act. On the one night a gang unit, a sleeping ex, and a pregnant girlfriend shared a single broadcast. If a phone could testify, this episode is 4 minutes long. And the cutting one, the villain and the hero get paid the same, was never a worldview. It's an invoice with a philosophy degree. The industry is going to shrug this off in a week. The algorithm will feed you the next kick meltdown by Thursday. But somewhere in a family court intake, a paralegal is pulling clips right now. And whoever files first, Nevaeh's team, Jaden's team, or the state, is going to walk in with a highlight reel already edited by the defendant. That's the take. That's the one I'll defend. Somebody's gonna say I'm being harsh on a young couple figuring it out in public. I hear you. I've thought about it. The problem is the in public is the part they chose. Nobody put a camera on them. They put the camera on themselves. That means the receipts aren't leaked. They are published. Watch what happens once Nevaeh Akira sits with the speakerphone clip for 72 hours. She's already got the receipt. She heard him say, expletive, happens about 2 missing phones in the same breath. He'd been drinking with his ex. The most probable landing is a public exit, a story, a live, a caption, something calibrated to move without formally filing anything yet. Don't be surprised if the pregnancy gets protected off camera while a very quiet family lawyer starts a very quiet paper trail on the side. Her cascade mostly runs downhill from there. Once the exit becomes public, expect the carrying a baby livestream to re-enter circulation as the sympathetic angle, the announcement that doubled as a confrontation. Don't be shocked when her side routes everything through captions and representatives instead of streams. The speakerphone tape taught this whole orbit what a live MIC costs. And the secondary failure prediction. The loyalist fallback, she knew who he was, is about to die on the July tape. That confession wasn't negotiated with her. She received it with the rest of the audience. The next 2 weeks will reward whoever moves quietest. Now the wild card. Carlissa, Blueface mother, has a pattern of jumping into these situations on her own timing, and she's had a complicated posture toward both Chrisean and Nevaeh across the last 12 months. Once the club footage from Saturday night surfaces, and it will, somebody in that room had a phone that didn't get lost, the family camp fractures again. The wild card is a Carlissa livestream that says the thing everybody in the family group chat has been typing and deleting. If that lands, the framing war stops being a media story and becomes a family court exhibit. The family camp is about to sort itself into defendants once that footage lands. Carlissa has already spent this cycle firing back after Chrisean reportedly pressed Blueface to address his mom's alleged clout-chasing involving Jr. By month's end, expect her feed to name its villain, and the smart money isn't on her naming her son. The next livestream window will test whether the August 7th door was crowd control or prophecy. Secondary failure prediction. If the setup camp convinces the family that Chrisean circle-dialed somebody that night, the family war stops being content and starts being testimony-shaped. Allegations on a livestream are weather. Allegations in a support hearing are climate. And then the residue. 5 years from now, the story that gets told about this stretch isn't going to be the traffic stop or the club run or the spoon-feeding clip. It's going to be a custody file. It's going to be a settlement clause. It's going to be a junior who's old enough to search his own name and find a frame where his father is calling himself a supervillain over his high chair. The internet doesn't lose receipts. It loses context. The clip survives. The reason for the clip doesn't. By 2031, expect the receipts to fully detach from their context. The cartoon clip will resurface without the stop. The stop will resurface without the night. The speakerphone will resurface as a meme with no mother on the other end of it. And the industry's secondary failure lands quietly. Every desk that framed Saturday as a traffic item will frame the custody chapter as a custody item. Same neutral verbs, same clean hands, no memory of meeting the story before. Once the highlight reel hits a filing, the footage stops aging like content and starts aging like evidence. Somebody in the comments is going to ask when the last time was a rapper's public image survived a 24-hour kick stream involving a toddler and a traffic stop in the same window. I'll wait. That's the case. That's what the paper says. Remember the villain line I flagged at the top? That was the promise. Anticipatory defense on tape, delivered by the defendant, over a children's Bible cartoon narrating a parable about choosing your own way. Loop closed. If this is the kind of breakdown that fits your feed, tap the thumb, sub, hit the bell. The next case is already in research, and you'll want to be in the room when it drops. Comments are open. Tell me where you land.